Okay. Hello friends, welcome to BISP Solutions. In our last session, we saw how to add prompts to dashboard, how to add hidden prompts, how we can make analysis interactive, and have an overview of KPIs. In our today's session, uh, today's session, we are going to see, we are going to manage our content, expression editor reference, conditional expression, and functions. We'll do the KPI and KPI watch list and scorecard in the next session because instance is not working for today. So we'll do that in next session. Today we'll cover the theory part, which have been left out. So I'm going to cover these topics today. Let's just see. Manage content. Administrator can manage Oracle Analytics content from the console. For example, if an employee leaves an organization, you might assign ownership of their workbook and machine learning models to a different employee. So, overview of content management. Oracle Analytics enable you to view and manage Oracle Analytics content. For example, if an employee leaves an organization, you can reassign their workbook and machine learning model to a different employee. As an administrator, you can use the content management page to view. This is the content management page which you are seeing on the screen to view, manage, and change ownership of all content type. From the action menu, for each item, you can also use the Open in Classic Catalog option to display the catalog folder where the item is stored so that you can make other configuration changes. For example, to change an item properties or permission over the item, click the action menu at the far right. Uh, Here you will find, okay, at the far right hand side, and click open in classic catalog. So you need to own the item to see the open in classic catalog option. So you need to own the item. Any item, it should be owned by you. So let's see about content ownership. As an administrator, you can change ownership to yourself as administrator, a different user. Every user with a specific application roles, some restrictions apply. If you own content, you have these privileges. If you know an object with an object ID prefix with at catalog, you can review the properties of that object and change permissions even if you have no other permissions on it. If you own an object with an object ID prefix with at default, you always have full permission on that object. So change ownership of content. You can change the ownership of Oracle Analytics content from the console. For example, if an employee leaves an organization, you can uh, reassign their work book and machine learning model to different employees so that they can use them. Changing ownership enables you to reuse analytics content if the original content author is no longer in your organization. You can also quickly provide analytics user with access to analytics content depending on the object. You can assign ownership to yourself about another user or a role. If you select an object with an object ID that starts with at default, you can assign it to another user. If you select a object with an object ID that starts with at catalog, you can assign it to another user or to an applicable application role. If you want to assign multiple objects to an application role, you can make sure you select only object with object ID starting with at catalog. Okay, so here in the Oracle Analytics homepage, click the navigator and then click console, then click content to display the content management page. This is the page. Okay, so locate the item whose ownership you would like to reassign. Okay, so to locate all object belonging to a user, click filter, then enter the user user's username in the owner field. You can further refine the selection using the object type option. Use the object type option to restrict the list of specific type. Click filter to display. Use the search box to locate text in the name field. For example, enter cluster to display object with cluster name in the search. So here is the search box, and and you can use filters. Here are the filters, which object type you want, and use the object type options to restrict the list of. Okay, so object types option you can use, owner you can search over here. Okay, after doing that, click to the item, uh, click to select an item. Okay, we'll click over here, uh, any item we'll click, and then what we are going to do, uh, then click, or you can press control and select multiple items, then click change ownership. Okay, so here is the option dialog box you are going to see. So it will be consisting of roles. Okay, and the other thing will be the ownership you want to provide. Okay, so here you will choose roles and the ownership you want to provide. Okay, and after that you will click on OK. Let's move to our other agenda for today. So expression editor reference. The expression elements that you can use in the expression editor are SQL operator, conditional expression, functions, constants, types, and variable. We'll briefly talk about each of them. So SQL operators. So you can see between. So it determines if a value is in between two non-consecutive bonds. So for example, the syntax will be between, and then lower bond and upper bond. So between can be preceded with not to negate the condition. So let's see an example. If cost is between 100 and 5,000, so it should fetch that particular value. So that is the between operator. Now let's see in. So determines if a value is present in a set of values. So let's say if it is a set of value, you want to fetch some person ID with like 101, 102, 103, or 105. In You have provided a set of values, so it will search for that you specific which you specified in that set. So n is used for that. Okay, so and you have to give comma separated list, so it should be like 101 comma 102 comma 103, like that. So now let's move and see what is null. It determines if a value is null. Okay, so let's say product. Okay, product name is null, so it will search for is null or not. The last operator is like. It determines if a value matches all or part of a string. So it is like a, if you say, if you want to fetch only the part, like I want to fetch something, let's say some string is there and I want to fetch AB. Okay, I want to fetch the name starts with AB. Okay, so I'll put in that like operator and I will fetch the name. So after that, it is often used with wildcard characters to indicate any character string match of 0 or more character. We use ampersand or any single character matches underscore. Okay, so these are the SQL operator which we use. Now let's move and see what are conditional expression. So you use conditional expression to create expression that converts value. Okay. So the conditional expression described in this section are building block for creating expression that converts a value from uh, one form to another. One form to another. Uh, in case statement and has precedence over or. So and string must be in single quotes. Okay, so we keep strings in single quotes. Now let's see expression uh, case if. So let's see the example. Let me tell you an example. Case when 4 par is less than 0, then under par. Okay, so this is a condition when score is less than 0. So it will be string will be output as under par. And when score bar is equal to 0, then the string should be printed as par. When store bar is equal to 1, then it should be bogey, and or else it should uh, print as was. Okay, so let me describe you. Uh, Evaluates each when condition and if satisfied. Okay, when and if is satisfied, when condition and if satisfies, assign the value of the corresponding then expression. Okay, so it is in like if when is satisfied, then it will move to then statement, or if when is not satisfied, it will move to next when. It is like an if and else condition. So if none of the when conditions are satisfied, it assign the default value specified in the else expression. So if none of the when conditions satisfy, okay, so it will move to the last block which says else. So else will be the last. If no conditions satisfy, then else block will run. Uh, so the next is case switch. So also refers uh, to as case lookup. The value of the first expression is examined, then the user expression, then the user sorry, then the when expression. If the first expression matches any when expression, it assigns the value in the corresponding then. If none of the when expression matches, it assigns the default value specified in the else expression. If no else expression is specified, the system automatically adds the else null. Okay, so let's take the same example. Case is score bar. So uh, when -5, then uh, is it is uh, birdie on par. So if when 4, then must be tiger. When 3, then 3 under par. When let's say 2, then 2 under par. Uh, when 1, then birdie. When 0, then par. Or if no else is there, so the system will automatically provide else null. There are some other cases. If case else, where if case is greater than else, then what it will do. If case is greater than if null, so and if case is greater than when, and switch case is greater than else, or switch case is greater than if null, or switch case greater than when. Now let's move to other thing, which is aggregate functions. So actually functions, and in that aggregate functions, analytics function, calendar function, conversion function, display function, mathematical function, running aggregates, and string function, system functions, time series functions. So aggregate function, these functions summarize data such as calculating sums, average, counts, or finding minimum or maximum values in a data set. Analytics function. Analytics function helps in performing calculation across rows like ranking, moving averages, and cumulative total, often used in analytics queries. Calendar function. Calendar function assists in date and time manipulation, allowing operations like date arithmetic, extracting specific component, for example, day, month, and handling date formats. Okay, so uh, we can do that with the calendar function, and then we move to conversion function. Conversion function assist in date and time manipulation. Sorry, conversion function enables data transformation like converting a string to a number or changing a date format. So it is a conversion function. Display function format and presents in a user-friendly way, involving tasks like formatting numbers, dates, and text for better readability. Mathematical functions. Mathematical functions perform mathematical operations including addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division on numeric data. Running aggregate function. Running aggregate function compute cumulative aggregates useful for tracking running total, average, and other calculations. String function manipulates and uh, analyze text data including task like string concatenation, so splitting and searching for uh, substrings. System function System function provide information about the database system, user session, and environment settings, assisting in uh, system related queries. Time series function deal with time related data, facilitating tasks like forecasting, smoothing, and sessional adjustment in data analysis. Of Let's see what are constants. You can use constant to include specific fixed date and time in workbook and reports. So what are types of constant? There are the first is date, second is time, and the third is timestamp. So date is a specific date in a calculation or expression, creates a specific date in a calculation or expression. What does time do? Time creates a specific time in a calculation or expression. And timestamps, it creates a specific timestamps in a calculation or expression. Now what let's see an example. So it should be containing date. Okay, we will write the date and then we'll give a space, and in the single quotes we are going to provide the date and what format you want, and we'll do the same for all the other constants. Let's move to type. You can use data types such as char, int, and numeric in expression. For example, you use types when creating cast expression that change the data of an expression or a null literals to another data type. Variable Variable are used in expression. You can use a variable in expression. So you can use a variable in expression. So that's all for today. We'll do the practical part tomorrow, and I explain all the things tomorrow. So for today, thank you for watching the session. We'll meet in the next session.